Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of Lion's Den podcast brought to you by yours truly, Mr. Adele, and my co host.
Bakir.
What's going on,
Nailed it.
buddy? Haven't talked to you in a while.
It's been a week and change. And in that week, we've had our couple of preseason games. We've seen season tickets be released. We've picked up a couple of extra players. We've, had some rumors come in on some other players that are going to be finalized. It's been a busy week and a half that we decided to not be talking to the good folks here.
Well, that's all right because it's, I always think it's funny with a podcast. You don't release it at the time things are happening. You release it a few days later. And things are moving so fast right now, you could talk about anything. And it could be old news in 2 or 3 days. Point in case, our main man, Landon Donovan. We haven't even thought about that guy. What happened to him?
Well, I think I summarized it pretty well. Rumor was hot, then it got cold, then it got really hot, and now it's ice cold. It's just wasn't meant to be. It appears this week.
It was beyond not meant to be. I think you're right. I think we were both right. 1 for 1 so far in predictions. You know what? 2 for 2 in my case, if you don't mind. I predicted another guy, Mr. Silva, Louis. You remember that, don't you?
I'm saying predict at the time that you said he was coming wasn't really a prediction so much as it was common knowledge, and it just wasn't officially released.
I disagree with that.
It's going to be one of those episodes.
Hey, it's been a long week. So what do you think about Mr. Luis Silva coming over? I've stated my opinions a couple of podcasts ago. I will restate them shortly. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I think not only with the addition of Silva, but Chad Barrett and, some other pieces we've acquired this offseason, I think the RSL bench is deeper than it has been in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, we have some dangerous, versatile pieces that could be starters on many other teams that realistically will be in our rotation. I think Silva is the embodiment of that. He's a hyper talented player. I think he plays his role extremely well. He's versatile, but realistically, he will be starting behind Albert Rusnak. I think we are blessed to be in a problem where, Silva is fighting for starting minutes right out the gate. At least from what I've seen, of the kind of energy and promotion that has gone behind each player. It's fascinating.
Yeah. I'll say the least. Wait, you're thinking Silva is a no-brainer bench player?
I mean, no, not a no-brainer bench player. I think game 1, we start against Toronto. Silva is, on the bench. And I think that's probably going to be the case until Albert Rusnak does something totally horrible, or, Silva ends up just getting hot at the right time and staying healthy. I think Silva will fill a role that was at one point filled by Sebastian Vasquez, in that he is a dangerous, offensive-minded substitution that you can bring on when you're chasing a goal. That is the first kind of, I think, primary role that we expect him to fill, at least in my opinion. I know you think much more highly of him.
I think much more highly of him when not when he's on. I think he's mostly on. When he's healthy, I agree. He could be a starter in most other teams, provided we don't really know what other teams are going to look like just yet. But when healthy, if the form he had while he was healthy here, which wasn't for very long, he wasn't here very long, and while he was here, he seems to be injured all the time.
Something like 10 games.
Something like that. But man, those glimpses of just brilliance. Plus, he's a left footer, a lefty. That's actually can be an advantage. I have really high hopes about him. I think he could play up front too. I think he's got a high enough skill set. He's got a good enough shot. I don't remember his speed. I don't think he was the fastest guy. But I think he can play a bigger role than a no-brainer sub. I think he should be challenging for some of those minutes. You need to go more offensive. Um, pull Beckerman, put in Silva. Pull Luke, put in Silver. Man, we're going to have a deep midfield this year.
Right. It's I think historically we have seen Kassar's substitution patterns being challenged, and I think the devil's advocates always said, well, who was he supposed to put on? Kind of implying a lack of choice. I don't think we'll have that problem in 2017. I do not
Which
think we will have that
means
problem at all.
which just means we're going to criticize him even more.
Right. I mean, at this point, it's you have a plethora of talent available to you. It's about as deep as a team in the MLS will ever be. You know, if you can't figure out a way to eke out wins and protect leads, then there are other problems that need to be addressed.
Right.
Says this man.
This casual observer.
Casual
All right,
observer.
so our midfield right now reads Acosta. They have Jordan Allen in midfield here as well. I don't think that's right. Kyle Beckerman, Luke Mulholland, Sonny, Rushnyak, and Salcedo, with the latest addition of Mr. Luis Silva. This is a really deep midfield.
It is a really stacked midfield. I think midfield went from being, I don't want to say weakest positions. I think we had always had a very talented midfield. It just didn't mesh with the offense and the defense, which is kind of what you need a midfield to do. I think, moving from 2016 to 2017, we finally have a midfield that embodies the team.
Love it. I'm really excited for Silva. I'm really excited for Silva. Let's see what happens with the guy.
Just hoping he stays on his feet. I think that's the biggest question with him is, because he did not play in Mexico, really.
No, I mean, the guy's made that could serve in our favor. He's fresh. The guy is also made out of glass, man. He breaks, every other game he's injured.
Yeah, I think he has some kind of vitamin deficiency, like legitimately. Like I think he's got like weaker than normal bones. Like he has a special diet and stuff.
Oh.
I think I remember reading something along those lines. I don't know if it's true.
Well, but then I would feel bad.
Alternative facts. All right, we're gonna
love it.
We're gonna lose some members on this one.
Hashtags, man.
Hashtags on hashtags.
We can cut this out.
I did get to see Silva play against the New York Red Bulls, and I think what was officially the second game of the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first one made available to the public via a YouTube link, which we have shared on the Facebook page. If people haven't seen it, I strongly recommend they go take a look. And he had what I thought was a pretty strong showing. It's him and a few other key pieces. I think there were still some preseason bugs that need to be worked out, but for the most part, I think he linked up nicely. And I'm excited to see what he looks like in the season.
I did not get to watch that game at all. Did Mr. Rushnyak play?
He did not. We are getting some kind of audio in the background.
Right this very moment?
There's a running ad that I'm getting.
Oh, it's probably on your computer. Can't hear it on mine.
Okay.
Another website, as you're Googling facts. Yeah. Anyways, long story short, like I said, did not get to watch the preseason games. Any other notes you took away?
I mean, I think, realistically, at least in my opinion, Luke Mulholland was one of the best players on the field in both, in either half. So they did a first half of 11 guys, and then they did a second half of 11 guys. He played in the first half, if I remember correctly. And I think realistically, given how stacked the midfield is, a lot of people expect Luke Mulholland not to get regular minutes, but the guy seems to find a way to just, be a key component of that RSL midfield. And, at least from game one, it doesn't look like he's lost a step. If anything, he looks like to be one of the most ready guys to play right now. He's breaking up plays, chasing balls, making beautiful passes. It was a Luke Mulholland that, I can't say I'm his biggest fan by any stretch of the imagination, but the guy looked great out there.
All right. I am his biggest fan. I don't understand people's beef with Luke Mulholland.
I don't think it's so much of
He
beef. I think he occupies a very thankless role on the team.
That's it.
Essential, but thankless role.
That's it. That is it. Luke, similarly to Kyle Beckerman, if you don't notice them too much, they had a good game, I think. Unlike Beckerman, who, bless his heart, is getting up there in age, man, Luke's got a rocket on their left foot right now.
He
Kyle
does.
Beckerman used to have a rocket. I haven't seen that rocket hit anything in a long time. But, man, I've heard other people talk about this too. I think there was another podcast that was talking about that specifically. And it seems that everyone has a beef with Luke Mulholland. I love the guy. I think he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. When he does make mistakes, he makes up for them. He hustles. I've never seen Luke not try very hard. And he just seems like the ultimate team player, man. He seems to be in it. He seems to not mind his role at all. I am really excited. This is one area I would hate to be Jeff Cassar on this year. I don't know who do you play? I think Sonny, when fully healthy, deserves to play
Obviously.
over Luke Mulholland.
Right.
I think Kyle Beckerman, if for no reason other than history, should probably play over Luke Mulholland. Even though this
Sure.
potentially might be the year where they start switching roles a little bit. I would not
Right.
mind. I love Kyle, but
But
this could be the year.
I mean, I don't think Luke is a Kyle replacement. I don't think that's a similar role. I mean, I think realistically, you bring on a Luke, maybe 60 minutes into a game that's tied at 0-0 or 1-1, and you're just kind of looking to switch up the pace of the midfield and maybe take on some risks, or you bring him up when you're up a goal, and maybe you're just trying to protect that lead. I think the guy busts his back on defense, and I think you put him in there and you protect the lead. I think efficiently.
Hmm.
That's
I,
kind of
I,
the role I see.
I think he can play in place of Kyle. I mean, he does break up plays. Kyle's number one responsibility on that team, other than captaining the side, is being the player who plays in front of the defense. I think Luke can play that role. So I've made two statements today. I've said that Luke can play Kyle's role, and I have said that Luis Silva can play forward. You're welcome.
I think you're looking at the underdogs on the not underdogs. I think you're looking at the bench to be your big guys, and I don't.
I'm looking at transferable skills, right? I think the skill set Luis Silva has can serve us up front, especially on one of the wings. I think the skill set Luke has can serve us to play in the back. Anyways,
Right. I mean,
long
I
story
think
short, I would it was gonna suck being Jeff Cassar making some of these
right.
decisions, especially if they're all playing well. For us, the
Yeah.
fans, this is going to be a very good problem to have.
Right. I think it comes back to just that versatility that we were talking about. It's you got guys that can fill various roles and not necessarily see a drop in talent in said role, and that's that's just good news all around.
Would you say that is a huge,
It's huge.
huge
It's
alternate
huge.
facts? I get
Speaking
to
of
say
guys
anything I want.
that can play multiple roles and take care of business, our very own Jordan Allen got to see some minutes against that preseason game against New York, and he's the one that actually ended up putting away a real nice header that ended up seeing us walk away with W 1-0. And I think it was late. It was like after the 80th minute. But
I
it was
he
quite the gem.
dodged the bullet by us not signing Landon Donovan. Landon Donovan would probably have played over Allen undeservedly for no reason other than to sell jerseys. So I'm glad that he didn't sign for that only reason. For if nothing else, uh, Jordan Allen gets to play. Jordan Allen's, I think, problem has always been consistency. So I hope he learned something in the offseason, that consistency. I mean, if he's been as active on the soccer field as he has been on Twitter, specifically politically charged Twitters or tweets, then we should be in pretty good shape.
Talking about the same Jordan Allen here.
Jordan Allen. Oh yeah.
I need to be on Twitter more.
You need to follow Jordan Allen on Twitter. Very politically motivated young man. Oh, politically. He follows politics, it seems like it.
He's a savvy
Good for him.
politician. Good for him. Well,
man.
good for
Good for him.
It's he put away a Velasco assist, and that found the back of the net. I think that right up front role is his to lose at the moment. You know, there's still some time before.
So you think in Plata, you're Allen, right? There's no real.
Yeah, I'm thinking Plata, Jura. Well, I think realistically, I think it's going to be Jura.
Number one.
Plata,
no questions.
Right. Well, I mean, I think
Plata number two, no questions.
I don't think we will necessarily play with three strikers. I think we will play with a striker and then kind of two secondary strikers, if you will, and then a forward midfield. I'm envisioning a 4-3-2-1.
You're envisioning a formation change?
No. I mean, I think people who say that we played a 4-3-3 at most of last year, I don't think I mean, it's, you know, the graphic always showed 4-3-3, but I don't think we were really playing a 4-3-3. It's Euro was always kind of an island out front. We expected Burrito and Plata to kind of make runs behind Euro and occupy that space behind them and look for that final little touch, which at the end of last year was frustrating as all hell to watch. But you know, I think RSL plays with, to quote Craig Webb, RSL plays with 4 defenders and 1 striker. The thing that happens in the middle is up to be decided.
That should be interesting to see. Let's do a full show on nothing but our forwards.
I think it's a fantastic idea. But to answer your previous question, I think it's Jura, and then I think it's Plata and Allen making runs behind him, and Rusnak just kind of running the show and bringing the midfield into the offensive equation.
Let's see what happens. All right, one more point. What about this Lennon kid? Who's this Lennon kid? What do you know about him?
Well, I mean, you know,
other than
Brooks
he's a
Lennon,
Liverpool product.
Well, he's not a Liverpool product. He's an RSL Academy product.
Mm-hmm.
He came out of Arizona in a very talented class. Liverpool liked what they saw, and they snagged him up. He's played for the Liverpool youth team. I think they're under 23s. And from what I have read today and seen, we are expecting an official team announcement that he will play at least 1 year on a loan with RSL. I'm curious to see, you know, what that looks like at the end of said loan, if there's an option to buy, if he ends up, you know, spending time with RSL. But the kid plays a forward role. He's supposed to, I mean, you know, you don't just get to play with Liverpool because they like you. You know, you gotta know what you're doing. You know, I think realistically he could challenge for some minutes up front. And I mean, nothing official yet, though he is training with the team in Arizona at the moment.
And
so officially unofficial.
Unofficially official too. There was something similar happened last year. We had that defender all lined up. He was training, playing preseason games with us, and got away. Name escapes me right now.
Right.
So, kid is young, 19 years old. Obviously, like you said, started with our academy, picked up by the Liverpool youth team, which, yes, you mentioned it. They have the whole world to pick from. So that must mean kid knows what he's doing. Bench player up front, a wing player. I haven't seen this kid play at all, but it should be a pretty refreshing thing to see. Challenging maybe Jordan Allen for some minutes, maybe off the bench, firepower instead of Plata.
I think so. It's you know, it's once again that option on the bench for depending on what the situation calls for, it's you could see him. I don't think starting minutes right out the gate, but
Mhm.
easily, depending on which Allen shows up come regular season games. If Allen disappears, as he's known to do every once in a while, for 2 or 3 consecutive games, I can see this kid getting the start over Allen easily, very easily. I think he's got the talent to do that.
Wow. Bold statement, my friend. Bold statement. All right. What else we have to talk about? When is the next
Well,
preseason game?
I think there's a game tomorrow, Friday, the 3rd of February, against San Jose, the Earthquakes.
Beautiful. Is that
Uh,
YouTube televised? YouTube
I
live?
imagine that will also be on YouTube for us to take a look at and observe. It isn't really a San Jose side that's seen too much change in the offseason. Um, I think we might see Wando. He has been released from the U.S. men's national team camp.
Mm-hmm.
On the first round of cuts, obviously. Um, so we might see Wando make an appearance for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then realistically, I think a lot of RSL fans will recognize the guy that comes on for him, which will be our very own anymore, but Omez Garcia was picked up by the San Jose side um, during the offseason. So I think realistically he will be coming on with probably something to prove to us.
Man, that every time I see that kid, it's just it's shattered hopes. I keep thinking of shattered hopes. Do you remember him a couple of 3 years ago? Man, how long has he been with us?
I
First
think he was
year,
coming on 4 seasons. Yeah,
uh, that very first year, man, the kid would come on and just have moments of brilliance. I will never forget that first goal he scored for us. A curler left side of the box, top right corner of the goal. Man, I thought that was the next big star in MLS. Kid just never came through. It would
right.
it would suck if he turns out. And do you think he could turn out to be our João Plata case in which case we are Toronto?
Right, you're saying crazy development in just a change of sceneries tend to
Yeah, what
help.
if he's João Plata in 2 years?
I think we'll be kicking ourselves, but I don't think it's one of those. Oh, if we had waited long enough, or if we had developed him more, it would have happened. I don't think it was going to happen with Real Salt Lake. I think
Yeah.
initially when he was being scouted, it was there's obvious speed there, there's obvious talent, there's good movement and just a general competitiveness that you can see from just watching him play. But I think the expectation was that all of this raw talent was going to be kind of molded by Jason Kreis into a superstar. And then things happened the way they did, and Jason Kreis left, and things changed, and new head coaches were assigned, and all of a sudden you had this kid with these really fast feet, but no one to really, coach him, not, take away from Kassar, but I don't
I
think his
was just
strength
going to
is
say, is this a long way to rip on Kassar?
absolutely not. I think Kassar has some very good strengths as a coach. I don't think developing youth is necessarily one of those strengths. Oh, we gotta get the soundboard away from this guy. But yeah, it's I think
Wait,
wasn't
what,
it
what did
wasn't
you what did you say about Kassar?
I don't think one of his strengths is developing youth. All right.
I apologize. Proceed, please.
Anyway, I mean, I think that basically sums it up. It's this kid who just all the potential in the world, but there's nothing was happening here.
Well, we wish him good luck, except when he's
Absolutely,
playing
just
against us.
that's the truth.
Let's
And I
be
think for
honest.
them, he's
Go
going
ahead.
to occupy a bench role, and I don't think they're looking at this guy as the guy that's going to win them the MLS Cup anytime soon.
Oh, they couldn't have paid much for him either. I honestly haven't stayed much and haven't stayed on top of that very much at all. Well, I am going to tune into the next preseason game. I want to see just for no reason, even if for no reason other than it's like a month away tomorrow from the season start.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
coming up
it's
quick.
4 weeks. 4 weeks. That's drawing it really, really close. Last question for you. Are you downloading the tickets digitally?
I don't think we have a choice anymore.
Do we?
It's
Do we not?
no. I think the email I got from the front office was, here are your tickets. I got them to my Flash Seats account. I've gone through them, and then they're all there. The right date. It's got my seats, got my section. It's got how much they retail for, and I understand why they did it. It's just I wish they hadn't done it. It's some of the joy as a season ticket holder for multiple years now has been getting that email or that tweet of, hey, they're ready, driving down there day of, leaving work early, standing in line and picking up my little season ticket holder package. It's you get the season tickets, you get the the little cards, you get the leaflets, you get the number to call if you have any problems. It's just part of the experience. And I think is the convenience of just getting them straight to your phone worth giving up that experience? In my opinion, no.
It's not.
But
they should have
I
made it
think
an
also,
option. I think they should have made it an option. You can
yeah,
download it if you want. Yeah, you're right. There's, to be honest though, there were a couple of times over the last couple of years when I was halfway to the stadium and realized I don't have my tickets on me. So that won't happen again, right?
Well,
That won't happen again.
I mean,
And how many times? How many times was I out of town, and I had to tell you to stop by my house while I was out of town, knock on the door, and pick up my tickets? Last year, the last couple of years. So I guess that won't happen again, right? You can digitally just send them over.
right, you definitely can just send them over, and there is convenience there. But I mean, what happens if you had to send a couple of work emails or do the latest live stream from the car on the way to the stadium, and all of a sudden your phone is like at 2% battery, and there's a line all the way out to State Street. It's like, are they gonna have chargers up there? My phone's dying all the time. It's in a constant state of battery not charged.
You
It's what happens.
you need a portable charging station, my friend. I'll bet you
It's
Deloitte will
ridiculous.
sell you some. What's that?
I think it's ridiculous. Here's
Yeah.
my ideal solution. They give us those little plastic keychain. You are a Pride member, and there's the year, and it says you're a season ticket member, and they're all really well designed. Put a barcode on that thing. Put a unique identifier. Put a code or a fan number or something on there, and let me scan that as my regular season ticket. Give me a thing that I can still go pick up, along with maybe a poster or a plaque that's exclusive to season ticket holders. You don't have to worry about getting printed tickets out to people anymore. And you get this hard kind of, it's a barcode. This problem has been solved 1,000 times in a million different industries already, and I don't know why it's taking this long to adopt it. I think if they wanted to go digital or have an electronic file, the easiest way to do that is to assign tickets to a barcode and assign a barcode to a seat, and then give that seat to a fan. And I honestly feel like it just wasn't well thought out, in my opinion. I think it takes away from the experience.
I mean, if Smith's Marketplace can do the key barcode, I think Real Salt Lake should figure it out as well. I have a feeling that they have less control over that than we might think, but you never know. It'd be really cool if we could get someone from the front office on this. Let's work on that. You work on that. I'm busy. All right. Any closing words before we close this thing out? Upload it, download it, MP3 it, and then post it on the SoundCloud.
Regarding the game tomorrow, it is very likely that Albert Rusnak will be getting his first minutes in our RSL jersey. So,
and I'm going to be getting my very first minutes of my eyes onto an RSL match tomorrow as well.
All right.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. It's been a pleasure having you folks. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back soon.